Alright, so this is going to be a really unprofessional video. I just want to quickly go over my thoughts about the reveal of the Switch 2. I'm just going to cover my thoughts on the leaks, the console's features, what I'm happy and disappointed about the games, and my hopes for the console as a whole, specifically in that order. Okay, first is the leaks. I just want to take a second and say, wow, every single freaking leak of this console was right. And I am shocked by it. I'm actually shocked by it. I'm amazed, actually. Like it's crazy, down to the magnetic Joy-Cons, to the screen being bigger, to USB-C on the top. It was nuts how much was leaked. It's insane how much was leaked. I have no idea how these leaks got out. I think because of the presence of the internet and phones, really. Even like I'm starting to believe like even the hardware, like the motherboard itself, that's real. I'm starting to think that's real too. It's crazy how much was leaked. It's actually insane. I'm also going to touch upon the mouse function with the Joy-Cons. That's a leak too. I think that's true. I don't know why they would have a part in the video where the Joy-Cons are sliding across the table. I don't know why they would put that there, except if the mouse feature was real, which would be extremely cool. Imagine like using a Joy-Con as a mouse, so you could play like Doom Eternal or like Halo, which is a leak too, that Halo's coming to Switch, which would be cool. Even though I hate the Halo series, it'd be cool for people that like it. I think I actually believe the mouse theory. I think it's actually true. I actually believe that. Now, for the C button theory, this was something that they did not show off. And you know it's not actually a second photo capture and video capture button on the side, on the right side of the Joy-Con, because if you look to the left side of the trailer, you can see an indent. You can actually see an indent on it. But on the right side, there's no indent. There's something that's in the same shape as the capture button, but it's not the capture button. It's not the capture button. So, I see people are assuming that all the leaks say it's going to be like Campus, which is what it's going to be called. It's going to be like another Miiverse, and I don't know why. Nintendo's trying Miiverse again. We all saw how that turned out. They made like 2 different types of Miiverses and canceled both within like 2 years. It's crazy. They have not learned their lesson, but you know, third time's a charm. But I'm heavily believing that in the direct happening April 2nd that they're going to show off it as like Campus or something. I'm pretty sure that's what the C button is for. The next thing I'm going to talk about is just my thoughts on the console's features that were shown off. So first of all, it was pretty much obvious this was going to happen. Bigger screen and bigger Joy-Cons. I'm actually happy about this. I have my Switch with me right now. I'm holding it right now, and people are going to be like, oh, well, so Switch is already decently big. It's not. It's actually pretty small. Like when I was younger, it was big, but now that I'm older, it's like, this is actually pretty small. Like, I could deal with a bigger Switch. You could deal with a bigger Switch. Come on, we can deal with a big, chunky Steam Deck. All right, the Wii U gamepad is bigger than the Switch. If we could deal with that, we could deal with a big Switch too, okay? So I'm happy about the bigger screens. I'm happy about the bigger Joy-Cons. That was a big complaint. I remember seeing a basketball player like touch one of these Nintendo Joy-Cons, like one of those big, huge black basketball players, and he's like, "How do you play with this thing?" So yeah, bigger screen and bigger Joy-Cons. Thank you, Nintendo. Also, speaking of Joy-Cons, they are now magnetic. That's cool. And being magnetic, they now have a big feature. I have my Switch with me right now. They have a feature where like the little inside part of them, like the little black inside part of them that just like, you know, slides in to the Switch is bigger now. So now that's easier to access the SL and SR buttons, which is a great feature. Really happy about that. So good on Nintendo for that too. Also, I want to quickly touch upon the USB-C now being on both the top and the bottom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know so many people that use their Switch on the go all the time. They love their Zeldas and their Marios, or Kirby, their Metroids, their Pokemon, especially the Pokemon on the go, and it can be tiresome having only the charging port on the bottom. And depending on how you hold your Switch, that can suck. So now having it on 2 sides instead of 1, thank you again, Nintendo, for the 3rd time. This is an improvement. Better backstand. Thank you. 4th time. Thank you, Nintendo. Better backstand. The backstand for the original Switch sucked. sucked so hard, okay? I don't know how anybody can use it. It literally has to be perfect, like on like a completely flat ground, and you can only do it at like I'm not even sure it's a 45-degree angle. I think it's more like a 30-degree angle. I don't know. Maybe I got the math wrong. I'm pretty sure it's a 30-degree angle it can only do. But thank you. It now can do like all the way. It can now do like I don't know what the angle could do, but it can do like really close to the ground and yet still stand up. Thank you. That is good. Thank you. Backwards compatibility for both physical and digital Switch 1 games. I'm gonna touch on this. I'm gonna gloat over. Oh, not really gloat is the right word, but I'm gonna yap about this a bit more in a minute. But this is what we needed. This is what we got, especially for both physical and digital. Thank you. I'm going to talk about this a bit more, but this is what we needed, and this is what we got, especially for digital. Lastly, the thing I'm most happy about this, what was revealed for the console features was the name. Nintendo Switch 2. They actually used a number, an actual number, in naming this console, because this is their most successful console of all time, probably the most successful console of all time. I actually think it sold more than the PS2. I actually think that. So it makes sense for the follow-up console being called Switch 2, because we saw what they did with the Wii. The Wii was Nintendo's most selling console back when it came out, and they thought, hey, we're Nintendo, we're quirky, we do funny things, let's not call it the Switch 2. I mean, let's not call it the Wii 2. Excuse me. Sorry, supper. Let's call it the Wii U. You are retarded, Nintendo. 2013 Nintendo, you are retarded. That is such a dumb decision. Everybody thought it was an accessory. Nobody thought it was an actual console. So calling it the Switch 2, I got like PlayStation 2 vibes, because I'm like, they know what they're finally doing. They know what they're finally doing. They named it right. They named it right. So when a kid asks his grandma, hey, I want the Switch 2, she doesn't go and buy the Switch because the only other console is called the Switch U, okay? She goes and buys the Switch 2 because it's not the Switch 1, it's the Switch 2. So pretty much everything I just talked about is what I'm extremely happy for, but I just want to yap a bit more of what I am most happy about that was shown off. And just like I said, it's backwards compatibility. Thank you. It was the bare minimum, just like PlayStation did with their PS1, they did with the PS2, and it is the bare minimum, which means the Switch 2, while it may only have 3 launch games, maybe 2, maybe only 1, will have the entire library of Switch 1 games to play on it. And not only physical, but also digital. And you are betting that I am moving all my digital games off of my Switch 1 to Switch 2. Yeah, I'm really hopeful too that a lot of these games are optimized to run on Switch 2. And I'm going to tell you a quick story, and the story is, I remember when me as a family were driving somewhere for like a family reunion, and I have A Hat in Time on my Switch. It's really a good game. I really like that game. Switchboard is garbage though. And I hadn't played it in a while, and so I wanted to play it. So I was in my car when we were driving, and I just loaded it up. It took 10 minutes from starting the game to actually getting into the menu and playing. It took 10 minutes. That is bonkers. That is retardedly freaking bonkers. In no way acceptable. I don't know if it's because I hadn't played it for a while and it wasn't the system memory for a while, but yeah, I'm moving all my stuff over to Switch 2 because a lot of games are really underpowered on the Switch 1, even games specifically optimized for the Switch 1. So yeah, I'm really happy about digital backwards compatibility and physical backwards compatibility. I've actually promised my Switch 1. We're gonna have to start calling it Switch 1 now, just like the PlayStation 1. I'm actually happy about that. I'm gonna actually promise my Switch 1 to my little sister because I'm like, hey, I don't need the Switch 1 anymore. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Thank you, Nintendo, for backwards compatibility. Once again, you are the kings of it. Thank you. Now, I want to talk about what I am disappointed about this reveal, which is nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can't think of nothing comes to mind. Even right now, this is completely unscripted. Not a single thing comes to mind. I'm impressed. I was hopeful for the leaks. They were all true. I'm impressed. Okay, Nintendo, I'm impressed. I'm really, really impressed. I wasn't disappointed by a single thing. I was extremely happy by every single thing you showed off. So, yeah, great. I'm actually really looking forward to this. I'm impressed. Good job. I'm now gonna quickly touch on the game that was shown off and the potentiality for other games being launch titles for the system. So, Mario Kart 9. I'm gonna call it Mario Kart 9 because it's the next Mario Kart. They never defer from calling it a different thing. If they did, that would be stupid. Mario Kart 9 looks good. Now, Donkey Kong looks funny, but I think it looks good. I think it looks good. And by judging by the graphics in the trailer, I think this is a really powerful console, and I think it might be 4K. Because they zoom out in like the Yoshi's Diner area, and I bet you that track's going to be called Yoshi's Diner, which is a really cool idea for a track. Really cool. But it looks impressive. We only saw a bit, but I'm impressed. I'm impressed by it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Maybe I'm not gonna. Maybe it's not. Probably not gonna be a day one buy for me, unless it's the only launch title, which would be dumb. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Mario Kart 9. I'm also going to touch on the rumor about a Breath of the Wild remaster, which is also 60 FPS and 4K, which was apparently shown off at an investors meeting back in 2023 behind closed doors at a game event. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I don't know what the name. I don't know the name. I'm not going to assume the name either to make people not upset. So if they do that, Breath of the Wild remastered, 60 FPS, 4K, all DLC included, more content, that would be good. Now, as somebody who hates Breath of the Wild, and will probably only get this game because it's his little sister's second favorite game of all time, I still think it's a possibility because Breath of the Wild was huge. It was huge when the first Switch came out. Probably one of the best launch titles ever made, even though I personally hated it. I think it is probably one of the best launch titles ever made. It has such an impact. It had a whole impact on the whole gaming industry. It was incredible. Even though I hated it, I think it was incredible what it did. The go anywhere, do anywhere. You see that on the map? You can go there. You will probably be disappointed by what you find there, but you can go there. So yeah, if it's true, I think it'd be a great game. Breath of the Wild remastered. 60 FPS, 4K, all DLC. If you charge $90 for it, Nintendo, I am not buying it. Lastly, Metroid Prime 4. This would be a great launch title for the Switch 2. Like, it's coming to the Switch 1, but as a launch title for Switch 2, showing off the graphical capabilities of it, because it's supposed to be as powerful as a PS4 Pro, I think it would be great. I would love to see what Metroid Prime 4 would look like on a PS4 Pro, so I would love to see that on Switch 2. Regardless of which, I'm 99% sure it's going to be a Switch 2 launch title. Because think about it logically. Like, it's coming out this year. We don't know when it's coming out, but we know the console's coming out this year, and we know the game's going to come out this year. Breath of the Wild came out on Wii U and Switch on the exact same day. So why not do that again with a big launch title, such as the next Metroid Prime 4. It would make sense. I see it possible. I would definitely get the Switch 2 version, though. I'm really looking forward to that. I really think it's going to happen. Last thing I really want to talk about is my hopes for this console. I'm going to hit each one of these really, really quickly because I know this video is probably way too long. First off, 1080p handheld, 4K docked, okay? The Switch 2 screen is bigger than the original Switch 1 screen, okay? I was really disappointed that the Switch OLED screen was still 720p even though it was bigger. But this one is even bigger than the Switch OLED screen, so makes sense for 1080p handheld and 4K docked. It's going to be as powerful as a PS4. A PS4 Pro, I really believe that's the case, so please, 1080p handheld, 4K docked. I have a 4K monitor, my Switch 1 games look like garbage on there, because it's only 1080p, so please, 4K docked. No, none of this 1440p crap. I want 4K, it's 2025, give me 4K. Also, speaking of the Switch OLED, I want the screen for the Switch 2 to be OLED. This is just my minuscule hopes. The OLED screen with the better speakers, just like the Switch OLED has. I would really like that in the Switch 2. I want there to be more storage, and I want there to be more power. According to the rumors and the leaks, there's going to be 256 gigabytes of storage. I think that's really good, much better than the garbage 32-bit, not 32 bits, 32 gigabytes that the original Switch had, and the 64 gigabytes that the OLED Switch has. Also, more power. I need it to be, as the rumors say, it's going to be PS4 Pro power. I believe that. I would really like it if it could run Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, if it could run Cyberpunk 2077, I would be very happy because that could show the power of it. Okay, if it could be 4K 60 FPS Cyberpunk 2077 or even 30 FPS. Okay, if it could run Cyberpunk at 4K, I'd be impressed. I think that's what we need: more storage and more power. We need that. Also, to quickly touch on the more power, faster loading screens, I think that would just make sense. Faster loading screens all around. I know the PS4 Pro doesn't have the fastest loading screens, and I want PS5 loading screens fast, where it's like 2 seconds and then I'm in the game. I'm teleported to completely the opposite side of the map in like Breath of the Wild. I just want faster loading screens. Okay, just common sense stuff. A better UI and eShop, please. Okay, the UI for the Switch 1 looks like stuff I do my taxes on. Okay, it's not really that impressive. Okay. When a Microsoft app has better UI than the Switch does, and it's more visually appealing than the Switch's UI, you have an issue. You have an issue there. Okay? And also better eShop. I would like an eShop where when I open it up on the Switch, I'm not immediately hit in the face with hentai games and shovelware. Okay? When the eShop on your website on any other device is 10 times better than the eShop on your actual system, where the games you get on the eShop are actually played on, you have an issue. Please fix it. If you want to know how to fix it, go to Nintendo Life's website. They have a great article on how to make the next Switch's eShop better. Just look at that. Please look at that. Just like the 3DS, I want customizable themes, okay? I have so many fond memories of playing around with customizable themes, especially the freaking theme shop on the 3DS. I loved that thing so much. I loved the theme shop, okay? The theme shop was good. I loved the theme shop, okay? Especially the Badge Arcade. I love the Badge Arcade even more. I love the Badge Arcade, the theme shop and the Badge Arcade, okay? Great. I love them. I love them to death. Please add those. Please add those to the Switch, okay? They just make the experience so much better and add that Nintendo magic, okay? Please be magical again, Nintendo, please. So for the C button, if it's true that it does stand for campus or whatever, and it does have something to do with like a Miiverse functionality, can it please not be NSO exclusive, okay? Either campus or the C button, because I would hate it. I would hate there to be a button on the Switch where I'm like playing through Metroid Prime 4, I try to press the home button, but I accidentally press the C button, and then it pops up, you need an NSO online subscription to access this feature. I would hate for that to be a button, an ad. I press like a button and an ad shows up. I would hate that. Please don't do that, Nintendo. Please don't. Also, I really don't want the console to be too expensive. The max I really want to pay for is $500 Canadian. The Switch is already $400 here, and the OLED is already $450. So if the Switch 2 can just be $500, I'd be cool with that, because the PlayStation 5, the base PlayStation 5 is around $600 here. So if the Switch 2 can be $100 less than the PlayStation 5, I'd be happy with that, okay? I don't think this is worth $600 Canadian. I think this is probably worth $500 Canadian, okay? I'm willing to pay $500,000 for Nintendo's new console. No more. And speaking of prices, games, please let them stay $80 over here in Canada. They're $80. The average game is $80. Please, no $90 garbage. So for you guys over in the States, the average game is $60 and then $70 USD. Here, it's $80 and $90 for the more high-tech stuff, like, you know, how Tears of the Kingdom was, okay? I don't want the new Mario Kart and the new 3D Mario game, and I don't want Metroid Prime 4 to be $90. Oh, please, please. Make it a regular price game, okay? I don't want $90 to be the new norm with you, Nintendo, just because you did that with Tears of the Kingdom. I didn't even get that game for $90. I got it off my local used game store. I'm not going to pay $90 plus tax. That's like $100 for a game. if this is, none of your games are like GTA 6, okay, I'm willing to pay $100 for GTA 6. I'm not willing to pay $100 for like Mario Odyssey 2 and Metroid Prime 4. Okay, well, maybe Metroid Prime 4. I'm getting that day one regardless, but please stay $80, please. Also, you have Nintendo. You got a big catalog of Switch games that you're probably still gonna sell. Like we talking the open world 3D Zeldas, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Odyssey, Metroid Prime Remastered, all the Pokemon games. Those are all on the Switch One. So, I know you're probably planning on it, but I'm just gonna say it. Nintendo selects for Switch One games. Please, it's been 8 years. Why am I still paying $80 for Breath of the Wild? That is retarded. It's an 8-year-old game. Why am I still paying $80 for Mario Odyssey? Why? It's nuts. Okay, any other game on like an Xbox or PS5 would be half off. Half off now. If I want to get a copy of God of War Ragnarok, it's like $30 on Amazon. Mario Odyssey's $80. That's insane. Okay, so please, Nintendo selects. If we could have Nintendo selects for Switch 1 games and that are optimized for Switch 2 but still also playable on Switch 1s, I'd be happy. Please do that. Please. It makes so much sense. You have such a big catalog. It'd be the best thing you could do. Like, hey, you don't have enough money for Mario Odyssey 2? Well, get Mario Odyssey 1 for $40 because it's a Nintendo Select. It's half off. That would make sense. Please. Lastly, the last thing I'm hoping for is that all the Switch controllers on the Switch 1 will be compatible with the Switch 2. I don't expect the Switch 2 controllers to be compatible with Switch 1. That would be cool. That would be epic. I think the PS4 and PS5 did that. I think that's really cool that they do that. I think that's incredibly cool. But if we could have some Switch 1 controller compatibility with Switch 2, that would be great. I personally have it right here. I have it in my hand right here. I'm just fiddling around with it right now. This is the 8BitDo Pro 2. I love this controller so much. It's compatible for Switch. Let me see the back. For Switch, for Xbox, for even Apple devices too. I love it. I've been probably 50 games with this controller. I love it so much. So yeah, 8BitDo Pro 2. If you want a controller that's quality, has a great D-pad, get it. I love it. This isn't sponsored. Like, look at me. I barely have any subs. Well, I have a decent amount of subs. Thank you to all my subscribers. But look, if you want, so I want this controller to be usable on Switch 2. I want all my other Switch controllers to be usable on Switch 2, just like the PS5 does. So Nintendo, if you could do that, I'd be very grateful. Hopefully that shows up on the April Direct for the Switch 2. Hopefully. Overall though, I'm extremely happy about this drop. Okay, 9 out of 10 reveal. Would have been a 10 out of 10 if they showed more than one new game, like Metroid Prime 4 at least, but I can't really complain. Okay, it was good. Anyway, that's about it for me. If you liked or didn't like this unscripted type of video or want to share your thoughts about the Switch 2 reveal, the comment section is always open. Anyway, I gotta keep working on my next Gmod video, so peace!